Little sample of music from, oh, it's music that Little Opera Company is going to be doing coming up for their first performance. That was from a work called Sparkplug by Milton Granger. And the Little Opera Company gets their season underway December 4th and 5th. That's one of the pieces they're doing. It is something called the Triadic Operatic Cabaret. Really unique concept. It's 3 different works that will be performed. And I've got a couple guests in the studio this morning from the Little Opera Company. I'm going to chat with Michael McKay and Spencer Duncanson. Now, Spencer has been in Canada for a number of years, and he is the founder of the Little Opera Company, a not-for-profit organization dedicated to the production of operatic entertainment of very high quality and a broad accessibility. So we're going to be chatting with him. We're also going to be chatting with Michael McKay, who's a local multifaceted artist. He's a pianist, he's a accompanist, composer, music director. He wrote one of the works that will be featured, and it is called The Triumph of Cafeina. So let's, Spencer and Michael, welcome to Classic 107. Great to have you guys here. Let's chat a little bit. Spencer, first of all, tell us a bit about the background of the Little Opera Company, what you guys are all about, what you stand for, and what sets you apart from kind of the other entertainment here in Winnipeg.
Whoa,
those are a lot of questions, I know, but I mean it's a unique thing here. I want to learn a bit more about it. So
okay, well, we are a chamber opera group, and so our work is of a smaller nature, and it provides a platform for a lot of emerging artists. It provides a platform for our seasoned artists to experiment and do things that they might not be able to do in a different venue. But more than that, it is a way into opera for people who have never experienced it. Part of what we want to encourage people to do is to explore, to come find out what opera is all about. It's not necessarily the highbrow, can't touch me art form that people assume it is, and it's filled with a lot of very relevant subject matter and exciting and accessible music.
Well, I mean, I just played a good example of that, right? I mean, it's an opera from Sparkplugs, which is very contemporary in terms of its subject matter. It's not like watching Puccini and Verdi, which I mean, again, I guess you could take themes from those works and make them contemporary, but this is really more about contemporary stuff that happens in everyday life. And so that kind of brings us to the season. You're just about to get the 2015-2016 season underway. Why don't you just sort of give us a brief idea of what to expect for the season?
Okay. Well, this first opera, the Cabaret, is meant to be an experience for people to come socialize, have a wonderful time, watch 3 very short but exciting operas with millennial generation singers, some emerging artists who are exceptional, I have to admit. I wish I could take credit for that, but their parents will have to do that. And once we've completed that, we have a fundraiser on February 20th, which will also feature some of our more seasoned artists, sharing some traditional as well as contemporary pieces. We tend also to try to make sure we have a lot of our operas in English because, again, it makes for more accessibility. And then we'll finish off with something that is very unique for us. We're going to explore a musical, an old musical with beautiful music by Borodin Kismet in May.
So that'll be that's exactly not opera in particular, more of a musical thing, but still a vocal piece.
Yeah, it has a lot of the music being classically based. Operatic voices do it well.
So let's talk specifically about the show that's happening December 4th and 5th that's starting your season. It's 3 works. Again, it's called the Triadic Operatic Cabaret. 2 works by composer Milton Granger. We've got the Angry Bird Song and a Sparkplug. You want to tell us about those, and then we'll move on. We'll talk about Michael's piece.
Okay. The Sparkplug, I'll start with Sparkplug. That's the one that is totally millennial in its concept, in that we have these 2 young people who work in an advertising firm, and they see this as just a stepping stone to being artists and realizing their true dreams. It's fun and it's imaginative. It's very clever in terms of the writing, both musically and the libretto. The singers are terribly well suited for this. Really, really well suited for this opera. Angry Bird Song, on the other hand, is a story about a young scientist who has to give a speech, and she's never been in front of an audience before, and she's going for coaching, and the coach turns out to be this sort of very domineering character who basically likes to create strong, positive women who are almost angry. so you get this
almost angry
almost angry all the time. So they're all very, very funny.
And then we have the third piece, which is written by Michael McKay. So, Michael, tell us about this particular work that you've written. Where the inspiration came from to write a piece about coffee. It's called The Triumph of Cafeina, and not only that, but the style that it's in too is kind of unique.
Yeah. I will go into a bit of backstory because The Triumph of Cafeina is actually a reworking of a piece of juvenilia that I'd thrown together like in my early 20s. And I was at a summer music program. It was supposed to be for pianists, but in one particular year there were a lot of vocalists there. And so I decided to take advantage of the opportunity and thought, well, if there are all these singers here, why don't I just write something? So I threw together something in a couple of days in a Baroque style, like I was just trying to imitate Baroque music directly. And it was a nice little piece on a rather shallow story. There's a man and woman they're very sad, presumably because they're single, and the god and goddess of love take pity on them, vow to come to their aid, and then get their servant to handle it, who then resolves to shoot them full of his arrows and make them fall in love, and they do, and everyone rejoices. Well, a couple of years later, I had moved to Wolfville, Nova Scotia, which is a very small town, but really quite vibrant, and noticed that a lot of the activity that was going on in the town was happening at cafes, like just a lot of good times. And so I thought I would rework this opera to be about coffee, sort of in tribute to them. And so it becomes the story of two people who are mortally tired and at their wits' end. We don't know what to do about this. And the goddess Cafeina, the goddess of coffee.
Yes, I've heard of her. I see her every morning.
I have her libations here. She takes pity on them, vows to come to their aid in minutes of Handelian coloratura, and then states her intent is, I will give them coffee and will wake them up. And they taste this, they're transformed, they sing a lovely duet, Be Thou My Love Forevermore, for Thee, O Coffee, I Adore. And then there's general rejoicing in coffee's saving power.
So, wow, that sounds like quite a story, I have to admit. An intriguing story. So what, you mentioned that the music itself is Baroque. Is that part of your background, Baroque music, or why is it Baroque music you decided to include in this?
I just happened to really like it at the time, and Baroque music tends to speak to me. Like in my work in churches, I tend to go there. So it was one of the styles that I felt like going to at the time, probably because I could put it together more quickly, because I only had a couple of days to write the original work, because I think it was only a 5-day program. It's like, okay, so I need to finish something now. So I thought I would just churn out some nice Baroque music.
And how easy was it to incorporate the story into that? Was it, or the story came first, or the music came first?
I think they both kind of came together.
Came at the same time. And this will be the first. This is the first time it's being performed. No,
not. It's. We'll call it the Manitoba premiere. The Triumph of Cafeina was done in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, prior to my moving here in 2006. And we had done a production as part of another cabaret. It was a music theater cabaret that we just threw this world premiere into just for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like a really fun program, I have to say. I just wanted to let people know how they can get tickets. Tickets for the Triadic Operatic Cabaret, $30. You can get tickets at the Prairie Theatre Exchange box office, and you can call them at 942-5483. We'll put information on our website. We'll also lead people to your website. It's littleopera.ca. And Michael, just quickly, tell us about, I'm going to play you a little sample of music from this. Now, it's not exactly what people are going to hear if they go see the show. Tell me a bit about this, the file that I'm going to be playing for you while I load it up here. Okay.
Well, I made a MIDI recording of the work itself. And so if you're starting from the beginning, what we'll hear is the opening chorus, or the opening duet, where the characters Andreas and Andrea are languishing of mortal tiredness. And the text is simply, "I'm so tired that I could die. Alas, alas, but what can I do?"
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
But just spun out with endless sequences.
Well, thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it, and best of luck with the season. It sounds like a really fun season, and a place people can go and be introduced to opera of a real fun nature, and just to get them intrigued in this stuff, and very contemporary too. So congratulations to you guys for putting it all together, Spencer and Michael, and appreciate you guys coming in.